Today we are going to tell you about a soldier, an officer, a general, a leader, a president, but most importantly a man who, in the prospect of awaiting physical torture, psychological sadism, and brutal death, fearlessly looked the monstrosity called the Soviet regime straight in the eye and rejected repeated proposals and threats of cooperation and collaboration. And all of that while being incarcerated in terrible conditions, disabled, betrayed by many of his own, and agonizing over the destiny of his family. Rightfully so, today he is called the symbol of occupied Lithuania and the pillar of Lithuanian national dignity. This man is Jonas Žemaitis-Vytautas, the iconic leader of Lithuanian resistance against the Soviet occupation. In this video, we will try to follow in his footsteps in the capital of Lithuania, Vilnius. Right now, we are standing in the square of Jonas Žemaitis, which is on Totorių Street. Behind me, you can see the monument for Jonas Žemaitis, and right over there is the Ministry of Defense of Lithuania.
We are at the General Jonas Žemaitis Military Academy of Lithuania. It has got its name in the year 1998 with an intention to commemorate Jonas Žemaitis, who graduated from Kaunas Military School in the year 1929 and started pursuing his career as a professional officer. By naming the military academy after Jonas Žemaitis, Lithuania honors his dedication, courage, and patriotism, as he is a significant figure in Lithuanian history, especially known for his role in Lithuania's post-World War II resistance movement against Soviet occupation. He was one of the few professional officers who had not forsaken their country nor fled for their life to the Western Europe. He chose to stay behind and stand against the totalitarian Soviet regime with everything he had: his skills, his experience, the oath he had taken, his family, and ultimately his life. Unsurprisingly, in the year 1949, he became the leader and symbol of the whole anti-Soviet resistance movement and remained such until his brutal death in the year 1954. Now we are looking at the Jonas Žemaitis bas-relief, which was made in the year 2009 in order to commemorate his 100th anniversary.
After the war between Nazi Germany and Soviet Union broke out on June 22, 1941, Captain Jonas Žemaitis, together with other Lithuanian officers, were ordered to retreat from Lithuania and follow Red Army to the east. They intentionally fell behind and surrendered to the German army. As war prisoners, they were imprisoned in military barracks right here on Kalvarijų Street. Eventually, in July of 1941, Jonas Žemaitis was released and became the head of the school for young commanders of the Artillery Regiment of Lithuanian Self-Defense Units. Unwilling to serve in Wehrmacht, he soon submitted an official request to be relieved of duty and went on unlimited vacation. He then moved to Kaunas and started working as a peat extraction technician.
Our current location is the Museum of Occupation and Freedom Struggles. It is dedicated to commemorating the victims of Soviet and Nazi occupations. During the Soviet occupation, since 1940s until 1991, this building served as the KGB Committee for State Security headquarters. As other heroes, Jonas Žemaitis has been interrogated here right after his capture on May 30th in 1953 until his relocation to the place of execution on November 23rd in the year 1954. Even under brutal conditions, he continued his fights for the freedom and future of Lithuania. His trial took place in the Soviet court-martial. The charges that were pressed against him were politically motivated, including the anti-Soviet activities, resistance against the authorities, and the partisan movements. Even when brutal physical and psychological torture was inflicted on him, Jonas Žemaitis never disclosed anything about the partisan movement or the people involved, nor did he sign any of 100 of interrogation protocols. He was repeatedly being humiliated by being forced to wear felt winter boots during his court trials that took place in December. Also, all of the buttons on his clothes were cut off so that his jacket and shirt would keep falling off, and his trousers would also slip off, so he would look and feel humiliated. He was practically disabled and hardly being able to walk From the stroke that he suffered from in December of 1951, he received no medical care whatsoever. There was an absolute lack of fairness in this trial, which was bound to conclude in the death sentence. Still, Jonas Žemaitis was openly denying the legitimacy of the Soviet rule, and showing his determination and commitment to the Republic of Lithuania that he knew and remembered, served as an officer and stayed loyal until his death.
Jonas Žemaitis was murdered in Butyrka prison in Moscow on the 26th of November in 1954. He rejected repeated proposals to file the last plea to the Soviet court. His last wish to see his ailing mother and the only son had not been granted.
Now, this building is a symbol of the Lithuanian fight for the freedom of their homeland and Jonas Žemaitis' brave journey towards the country's independence.
Finally, we're in Antakalny Cemetery, at the pantheon of the leaders of the state. Here, the Lithuanian government is planning on setting up a symbolic grave for Jonas Žemaitis-Vytautas. He was murdered in Butyrki prison on November 26, 1954. Afterwards, he was cremated in Donskoye crematorium and his ashes were spilled into a mass grave. All of this had been done intentionally so that the Lithuanian people could never properly bury the iconic leader or honor him after his death. Nevertheless, despite all of this terror and genocide and deportations and humiliation which were being forced on the lives of Lithuanian people for 50 years by the murderous Russian regime, despite their utmost effort, we are still here, and thriving and flourishing, open to the world, modern-day Lithuania. And we do remember who gifted us this free and independent life at the ultimate cost of their own. We do, and we will, because it is impossible to cremate free people's memories, mind, spirit, and the truth itself.